Let's start with a question that most people are too uncomfortable to ask out loud. Does she truly have zero interest in sex? Or does she have zero interest in sex with you? I know how that lands, but I want you to really think about it honestly, because the answer changes everything. This video is about sexless marriages. It looks at what actually causes them and what you can concretely do about it. Clinicians draw the line at fewer than 10 sexual encounters a year. That is the threshold for a sexless marriage. But that number alone does not tell you why the desire is gone or what hope there is for getting it back. To start figuring that out, you need to know which of three patterns your marriage fits. First, there are couples like Emma and Mark. Emma never truly felt sexual desire, not for Mark, not for anyone. She went through the motions early on, but there was always a sense of distance, a sense that sex was something to be endured rather than wanted. For couples in this category, the problem often traces back to lifelong low libido, body image shame, or trauma. The spark was never really there to begin with. Then there is Lena and Dave. Lena still feels desire, just not for Dave. She is turned on by fantasies, sometimes by other people, or by what she sees online. She admits she does not feel proud of her husband anymore. For couples like this, the issue is not a lack of sexual energy. It is that admiration and attraction have shifted elsewhere. But the most common and the most hopeful pattern is what you see with Sophie and Alan. They started out with real heat and affection. Over the years, life got in the way, with stress, kids, work demands, and growing emotional distance. The desire faded, not because it was never there, but because it eroded bit by bit. This is the group where rebuilding is possible, if you can pinpoint what changed and why. So before you blame yourself, your wife, or some outside force, ask which story sounds most like yours. The answers and the next steps are different for each path, but for most men, the real work and the real hope lies in understanding how desire gets lost along the way and what it would take to find it again. Sophie and Alan didn't start out cold. They had real heat at the beginning, long weekends, inside jokes, the kind of spark that makes you feel chosen. But over a decade, that spark faded. It did not vanish overnight. It wore down, bit by bit, as life piled on, a second child, Alan's job stress, Sophie's body changing after pregnancy, nights spent scrolling instead of talking. By the 10th year, they were sleeping side by side, but feeling miles apart, trading affection for polite distance. If that story sounds familiar, you are not alone. Most men in sexless marriages land here, not because desire was missing from the start, but because it eroded. The big question is why. 3 forces show up again and again in the research. First, respect. When a wife loses admiration for her husband, whether he is checked out, stopped growing, or just faded into the background, desire takes a nosedive. Studies pin nearly 1/4 of female desire on partner-specific admiration. If she does not look at you with respect, the fire goes out, even if she is still capable of wanting sex in general. Second, body image shame. When a woman feels uncomfortable in her own skin, sexual frequency drops by 40 to 60%. It is not just about what you say. It is about what she believes about herself, often shaped by pregnancy, aging, or years of feeling unseen. And third, emotional distance. In 61% of sexless marriages, women point to emotional disconnect as the main culprit. When the daily check-ins vanish and you stop being each other's safe place, sex becomes another chore or disappears altogether. These are not excuses. They are levers. If you want to revive desire, you have to know which one broke first. For Sophie and Alan, it was a slow leak. Admiration faded, shame crept in, and emotional distance filled the gap. That is the pattern most men face. Recognizing it is the first step toward changing it. You can't fix what you won't name. That means saying it out loud, even if it shakes the ground under your feet. Here is how you start. I need to talk to you about something that matters to me deeply. The physical dimension of our marriage has changed significantly, and I am not okay with pretending it has not. I love you. I want us. And I need to understand what is actually happening between us. Don't dress it up or water it down. Just say it, and then stop talking. Let her answer. When she does, listen for the feeling behind her words, not just the words themselves. If she says she is tired or stressed, try repeating it back. For example, so you are saying work is leaving you drained by the end of the day. The goal is not to win. It is to hear and to be heard without flinching from the truth. Start by taking a hard look at your own routine. Are you showing up in your marriage as the man you want to be? Or have you slipped into autopilot, phone in hand, half listening, waiting for something to change on its own? Research shows that small, daily shifts outside the bedroom matter more than grand gestures. Try this. No screens for the hour before bed, even if it feels pointless at first. Set up a 10-minute ritual every evening. Share something real about your day. Ask her about hers. Offer a back rub with zero expectations. Once a week, trade lists of 3 things you admire in each other. These are not gimmicks. Couples who build non-sexual connection double their odds of real intimacy within 24 hours. You are not just checking boxes. You are rebuilding the ground where respect and attraction can actually grow again. At some point, you have to decide if there is still a road back, or if you are just circling the same dead end. Here is the gut check. Is your wife willing to talk, even if it is hard? Does she show flashes of warmth, or is every attempt met with eye rolls, sarcasm, or silence? Openness, even if it is messy or raw, means there is ground to rebuild on. But if every conversation turns cold or contempt creeps in, the sighs, the put-downs, and the sense that you are not even worth the argument, that is a warning sign you cannot ignore. When contempt replaces curiosity, couples rarely fix this alone. That is when you call in help, a therapist, a counselor, someone trained to break the deadlock. Do not settle for polite misery. Intimacy matters. If both of you are still showing up, even imperfectly, there is work to do. If not, it is time to get real about what comes next. Intimacy isn't a bonus, it's a lifeline. Ignoring this pain won't fix it. If you stay silent, nothing changes. The real risk is pretending you don't care when you do. Speak up.